perhaps the better idea
Sure.
that we can get of just how close this matchup is, right? Just, what if NRG comes out and just smacks them in the mouth 2-0, right? What if Reciprocity repeats and beats them again, right? This gives us a much more wholesome idea of really where this matchup stands. Because again, you can't judge the world off of just 1 week. So to me, this is huge. I believe that these two teams played on Exhibit in the Pro League, and it did go to NRG. So again, no surprise there to kind of see them go back and pick this map.
7-3 actually.
There you go, 7-3. And like I said, we have seen Reciprocity have strong showings on Exhibit as well. So looking forward to get this party started. It looks like the trades are underway, and they are currently favoring Reciprocity. Not just Summons has something to say about it.
Yeah, definitely does. Of course, see exactly if Franchise can keep on the momentum. Unfortunately, he'll be brought down to all fours. Regardless, though, we'll see exactly what Reciprocity maybe has up their sleeves, as Kenny will get a nice chunk up close. Summon still trying to stay alive and actually will take that fight just despite after being taken down. So definitely an interesting group up here off the rip when it comes down to an Exhibit, and definitely an Exhibit that I would like to watch when it comes down to both these rosters. Incredibly stacked, super solid. It looks as if Rushies is pretty much backed up now to the force of NRG.
Hopping on board with Franchise, trying to just kind of mitigate the eventual push coming in from NRG. Swarm team looking to kind of take that sort of initial lead so they get control of that B hill. Powers picking up Crazy, gets into the hill. So while they have a lead, might not be for long. Members on both sides starting to go down. Lancer coming in from everywhere. You're going to see Powers hopping over. Knows he has a couple players weak. Love that angle he took to get the chunk on Mental. Jeez. A lot of players would have gone for the wrap shot. Instead, he hit a little nerd angle kind of between that fish tank, got the elimination, and managed to hop on the hill. So while NRG has a lead, it will be small and it will be gone momentarily. You see Explosive versus Rush. Rush into the back A. Both players starting to kind of back up a little bit, wait for that team fire to come in. Praise on the flank. Rush is there for the taking. Good teamwork coming in from Reciprocity.
And look at the way that they kind of apply their forces, right? It was kind of the NRG trying to make their way in through multiple positions. In Reciprocity, they supply the forces in the correct way. They work out their advantages. They catch off the one rogue player in Praise who was trying to make the pinch, and now NRG is pretty much left back where they just previously were. They get limited, and now they don't have the numbers. As now kind of back to the respawns, if you will. Explosive up close, can't find it. Franchise stays alive, and the most important thing is that he isn't moving, right? He's staying in these positions, and this is causing NRG a lot of struggles because they're trying to play the aggressive game, and Reciprocity's not letting that happen. But here comes the flash. Another attempt again. Ray's pretty much the front player, but Fran takes it regardless. A 2v1 situation, they've got Summons heading for the hills as Reciprocity continue to dominate here at B.
Love what I'm seeing out of Franchise. Explosive missed the wraparound shot on him. He did not make the same mistake his opponent did, connecting on that wrap shot, moving in towards the hill and helping his teammate out. You see Reciprocity with 2 hills in their name as we cross the 230 mark. Explosive up top. Of course, there's not a hill up there. Power is going to be dropped, but again, there's a lot that NRG has to do and not so much time. Unfortunately, they do not hop on the hill, but if it is Reciprocity, fortunate for them, they go up 1-0.
Yeah, they do indeed. Kind of on topic with Reciprocity, I mean, I feel like when it comes down to this roster now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the addition of someone like Powers, as we actually see NRG, was it all four had eliminations?
I lost my mind for a second. I saw the one elimination. I thought someone had one respawn, but then I looked at the respawn screen, and Reciprocity still, though, is ahead on respawns.
Yeah.
One of the NRG players down to only 3 already through the first round. So again, still plenty of time to make that up, but probably threw away a little more than they'd like. That was a pretty, like I said, long and kind of fought out round. Yeah, it's going to be Praised, who has 3 respawns remaining after just the first round. Again, if NRG puts a couple back on the board, he kind of banks them back up.
Sure.
No harm, no foul just yet, but definitely a little more in the first round than you normally would want to see.
But like I say, too, when it comes to Reciprocity, the point that I was going to be mentioning was that, like, I feel like they kind of have a newfound confidence with someone, you know, and in terms of, like, adding a player like Powers, right? We know the presence this guy has, the talent that he has, but I feel like this team kind of has, like, the extra resource. It's a matter of, like, hey, if we were to go down in a map, if we're not playing consistent, we have the, if you want to call it freak, the unicorn, if you will, who can come in and totally take over a game if necessary. And I feel like that is such another layer to this Reciprocity lineup that they haven't previously had in terms of Gears of War 4 now coming into GAL 5. Having that extra layer, I feel like, could be all the confidence that they need.
Yeah, one thing about Powers as well is because of the Reciprocity team being wiped in front of our eyes is that Powers literally in this video game respects nobody. That was a big thing when we first picked him up on our Echo Fox team that we loved about him, was that he didn't care what the gamer tags were in front of him. He didn't care who Optic was at the time. He didn't care about any of these teams, nor the fact that he hadn't been to an event, right? He respects nobody, plays his game, and you kind of have to have that fearlessness. You have to have that sort of just second nature mentality if you're going to beat a team like NRG. So that's what kind of helps make him such a special player, along with the fact that he is absolutely incredibly mechanically gifted.
Absolutely. And I think, too, when it comes to esports, I mean, people always talk about how the come-up was quick. It was, you know, you work on trying to become a pro for so long, and then, you know, it takes a year, 2 years, and the guys who you were idolizing are now your rivals. And I think that's such an important aspect to have, is confidence, especially in someone, like you said, in terms of powers, because the come-up was quick, right? He ends up, you know, becoming a professional. Now, instantly, he becomes one of the best players in the world. Obviously, it took some time, but in general, it was a quick come-up, right? That was, you know, years in the making. And now he currently finds himself as, like I said, one of the top caliber players on a squad like Reciprocity, who looks fantastic so far throughout Gears of War 5. And it looks as if, speaking of Rec, they actually are in the process of capturing B, so that one will go in their favor. It'll be that double hill advantage. It looks as if NRG are forcing actually for the double home hills. Rec kind of forcing so much presence when it comes down to B. It looks as if NRG kind of comes through with the flank.
And Rec just nowhere to go. The presence of NRG, the pressure, they're just absolutely swarming them towards that B hill. And of course, it kind of heads over towards the home hills as well. Another kind of long, drawn-out round, but in the end, it is a 3-cap coming in from NRG, and they were honestly pretty much in control the entire way through. Great teamwork coming in, of course. Explosive was all over the place, as always, leading the way. Most eliminations. And yeah, like I said, when they're playing like that, when they're moving quick, and they're shooting together, moving together, they're a very tough team to beat.
That's without question. So we'll go back to the weapon placement, like we said. Score currently level at 1-1 as both these Titans exchange blows. Now, I wanted to kind of go back quickly to the map veto conversation that we were having kind of in the pregame. We were kind of going over a few things. We were having a few conversations about how the map kind of phase was going. And I know you were a little bit surprised, actually, that we may be seeing Asylum and Bunker for Game 2 and Game 3. I say that out of order. Map 2 will be Bunker. Asylum will be Game 3. What's kind of your thought process after Exhibit gets closed out? The maps that we'll be visiting next.
Yeah, so I was kind of looking back, and I hadn't seen any you know, history in the Pro League or in Emergence days of them playing Bunker. So that to me is going to be exciting, of course. Not on the inside anymore, so I don't know what all the scrim results are, so I don't really have sort of that to my disposal, but definitely going to be, to me, a very, very interesting map, not only for me to watch, but for everyone to watch. Like I said, we've seen so many training grounds, asylums, you know, Vascars, right? We haven't seen a lot of bunkers between these two teams. So that to me is an exciting one. And then from there, if it gets to the third map, we have Asylum, which we've seen, you know, a decent amount of. NRG got the better end of Reciprocity in the Pro League. Reciprocity got the better end of NRG last week in Emergence Day. So some people might, you know, rather take the more recent result, which would be Reciprocity. But either way, like I said, you never quite see, you know, NRG lose most things twice. So of course, to expect them to bounce back is also, you know, equally favorable. So I think this is a super, super exciting map pool. I think that this map number 1 even is a map that both teams are very, very strong on.
Yeah.
So again, it's just a much different series than we saw last week, but a very, very exciting series as well.
Absolutely. You talked about it, too. Like, when it comes down to this NRG team, they come back and, you know, they're motivated. They felt that loss to Reciprocity, and I think by being, you know, such a top-caliber team for as long as they have, as unfortunately franchise runs into the laser, you got to be aware of what this team means, and they take those losses to heart. And I think it was Taylor who mentioned, you know, how, I mean, can you ever reference a time where we've seen this, or rather this NRG X-Optic team, whatever you want to call it, this group of guys lose online tournaments back-to-back. You know, it's crazy that has to be at least a thought process that's like, did that ever happen? Has it ever happened? When's the last team that's ever gone through? If these guys lose, which isn't often in the first place, it usually doesn't happen a second time. They learn from their mistakes and they become even more deadly after that occurs. And kind of in reference to that, you see that the fact that Reciprocity finds themselves with 3 men down. Icy does his best to take down Praise at least off the start. We like to imagine trades will most likely be inbound. Mental, we know the skill that this guy has. Actually, 2 Reciprocity players are there for the double challenge.
And Icy stays alive there. Great plays by him. Gets the first kill, kind of dances around, waits for his teammate to come. Him and Powers finish off that second kill. He's taking a very, very low health once again. Going to be dropped. NRG on all 3 hills at the moment. I don't know if anyone on Reciprocity is in position to get to one. They are not. So despite kind of a good play by Icy, in the end, NRG continues to kind of move forward. Again, they played those objectives. More importantly, sometimes those things you can get all the kills in the world, but if you're not playing those objectives, you can end up falling.
Sure.
So NRG takes kind of the next lead.
Hills over kills, baby. Always got to prefer it. And I got to say, like, one thing that, you know, and I've kind of gone back and watched a little bit of the I'll just say NRG. You guys obviously get the point. The one thing that I always heard commentators talk about was that whenever they're in very competitive games, obviously they're an excellent slaying team. There's no doubt about it. But they're also a very smart team, which is like you kind of have the 1-2 punch. It's like, even if you look at other esports as well, it's scary when you have a team that is both tactical and both very difficult to deal with in terms of slaying. That too, like usually you have the forces in some capacities for certain teams. Sometimes you have a little bit of smarts, a little bit of slaying power. Sometimes you see, you know, the most slaying power in the world versus some of those technical teams, and it's usually a battle back and forth. The fact that these guys have both of those qualities makes them so difficult to face off against, because like we said, it's not just a one-trick pony type thing. It's not as if they rely on one particular aspect. This is a team that understands the way that Gears of War is meant to be played and how to walk away with a particular round in a multitude of different aspects.
Yeah, I mean, to me it kind of starts with the fact that they have who a lot of people think is the best in-game leader in the game. Meanwhile, Rushy's trying to put that in-game leader's team to the ground, gets 2, finally dropped himself. But yeah, like I said, when it comes to tactics, when it comes to leadership, these are the 2 best in-game leaders we have, right? This player on your screen right now, Franchise, a lot of people kind of think he is sort of the second best in-game leader, 2 explosive. So when we talk about tactics, this is a matchup that we are so lucky to see, right? We do get sort of the 2 best leaders we have in Gears of War going head-to-head. You know they're going to always try to kind of pull a rabbit out of a hat, do something to kind of, you know, outthink the other person, which is just, you know, such a blessing for us to watch and the, you know, the Gears of War community, right, to continue to watch these guys kind of go back and forth. And on your screen right now, we do have Reciprocity in control of the objectives. Kenny, with that drop shot in his hand, 2 bullets, got kind of caught off guard. Icy, though, over the home hill, going absolutely berserk. It's a triple kill over at C. If I know Icy the way I do, he is screaming into his headset as he moves forward, and Reciprocity has the numbers. They have the positioning. Kenny, I believe, stayed alive with the drop shot. Things are looking good for the COG team, and it's because of the Iceman.
And they're also aware of the spawns, right? NRG 3 clean out of the respawns, and now it's a matter of what they have up their sleeves next. Trying to be aware of all those potential pushes, trying to lock it down, right? Solar's one of the farthest pushed up players, along with Praise, who have to make the rush, as Kenny does end up firing away on that drop shot. Nothing lands, and you're starting to see a little bit of control being lost from the Reciprocity side. They're backing up, trying to reassess the situation, as now this could be a good spot for NRG to maybe break their way on through. And why? Because it has to happen now. If ever at all, it needs to happen. Like I said, Reciprocity pretty much backs up. They're in control of one hill in particular, which will be the one that they need the most. NRG, they're trying to send a few forces here. Can they get there in time? Can they make enough of an impact? They actually do have a few forces here, Ryan. Let's see if this one works, and look at that from Kenny.
I was just going to say, if I'm Kenny right now, I'm telling everyone, get the hell out of the way, because he had that drop shot, and that's exactly what he needed to do. Just basically blew up the remainder of the server. Rec plays the good defense. You saw them, they kind of had a moment where they decided they want to sort of take that fight over towards the neutral hill, or do they want to kind of just pull all their resources back. Kenny had the drop shot with 2 bullets. You can kind of tell he had to sort of make that decision.
Sure. And
I'm guessing that probably was the call of Franchise to just tell the team, get the hell back, right? We win on 1. We have the drop shot. I believe they had a shot grenade as well. Let's use everything we have to protect the only hill we really need. And while I said NRG kind of got there, they got close. In the end, though, the shock was there. The drop shot finished it all. Said as long as they kind of just held back, put the resources in check, it'd be good.
Yeah. In soccer, or AKA football, you call that parking the bus. You know, you just get in the back of the base.
That's probably the best analogy possible.
You literally just get in the back of the base, you just chill, you know what the score line is, and hey, you rely on Kenny to hit the one shot that he has to. And of course, with the drop shot in hand, he's going to hit that one every single time. That's going to be a Rec, evening things out at 2-2. Said back and forth we go. Is this one living up to the hype, at least off the start? I'm sure we'll be having a lot more rounds coincide here in just a few moments. But regardless of that, though, what a great game it's been already. When you talk about the in-game leaders, the presence that both of these lineups have, just the intuition to make plays like that happen are so fascinating. So we go from kind of the mental side now to the high-octane action side of it, as there's a few players locked in, and there's Mental doing some damage up close. Of course, along with Praise, these two together are absolutely terrifying, as that will be their hill to grab.
Good play by Mental, like I said. Has ice in his veins pretty much permanently at this point. Like I said, 2 members in front of him, never gets phased. picked up the first one. Spaces shots out for the second one. Reciprocity started off strong, getting that B hill, but in the end it was NRG who took it over. Now Reciprocity kind of back to the drawing board. Get your spawns back up, get your utility in place, and kind of decide where your push is going to be made. They have a mark on Praise. You see Icy kind of waiting for him to go for that little nerd angle. They end up getting that down. That could be their opportunity to kind of push forward. You're going to see Icy start to kind of approach Solars at least to kind of get his back, or sorry, his eyesight off of his teammates. Mental, meanwhile, going to put the drop to use. Fran also dropped. Numbers back in favor of the Swarm team as they continue to kind of try and protect that neutral hill. Rushies has something to say about it. He's kind of surrounded right now. He knows that kind of summons is to his right. He's got a player above him. The rush hits the wrap shot. Only connects with a couple pellets. 2 members of NRG in front of him. He finally gets dropped. Can his teammate Powers defend him? Can he avenge him? Flashes come in. Summons gets 1. He gets dropped. Here come the trades. I think Reciprocity should get the revives. Wolf packing in place for both teams. Members just going down left and right. Revives left and right. The battle for the B hill. It is currently in Reciprocity's hands as they look to tie this up and take their lead. But it's going to be Mental once again getting a double kill at the neutral. In the B hill, while was in Reciprocity's hands for a short period, is back in the Swarm's favor.
Franchise and Rushies, they lined right up there at the end. Fran was trying to stay alive for as long as possible. I think he kind of knew somewhat of the inevitable. He was waiting for his teammates to join alongside of him, but it was just a little bit too late. The NRG camp got there just in time. Well, hey, now's Rek's turn. You see the explosives, quite literally. You see the utility being tossed out. Powers finds one of the first frags of this next push. And in the process of that, Rushies has now got that drop shot on his back. Scary situation right here for either side in case of the situation. Solars does take down Fran, but here comes the drop shot. There goes explosive trades happening either which way. And here come the bell. Look how close that score line is. Rushies is trying to be aware. He's cutting off NRG as they try to break in, and it will be Reciprocity who locks in. They jump in at just the right time. They position, which is what you've been calling out, Ryan. They pretty much set up a crossfire. NRG, as soon as they break back in after losing control of the hill, they instantly get shut down.
So many long rounds, right? We've used to seeing so many kind of short rounds, trip cap dominations. So many of these rounds have extended past 2 minutes, maybe even past 3 minutes, because that's just how good these two teams are, right? They're just looking so strong. I think if I looked at the stat sheet right now, I think NRG is actually, at least in the elimination column, kind of winning the slaying battle by a decent margin. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, you look at the eliminations on each side, NRG is actually up by quite a few, but the score is 3-2, right? Reciprocity are playing the objectives well. It seems like every time we kind of have these back and forths, it seems like I said, NRG takes over, Reciprocity comes back, they take the hill. Then NRG comes over, Mental gets double kill, they take the hill back. And then Icy comes in and Rushies come in, right? Just seems like that middle hill has kind of been just so back and forth. In the end, it kind of continues to show that Reciprocity has the better end of the objectives more than just the kills. Got a little bit of stalemate right now. Boom shot in the hands of Explosive, boom shot in the hands of Franchise. Both team captains carrying those explosives.
I love that, right? It's like you got the big boy in your hands. You know what, teammates? You go for it. I'll play general here.
And in different spots, too. Not until anymore. They switched it, but for a while, Mental was the one over towards the hill. Now you see both Franchise and Explosive. Ooh. Explosive going to strike first, launch his across, take out Kenny. Sorry, Icy. Kenny at the same time falls to Mental. Fran going to use him onto Explosive. And then go for another one. Gets a second one. Can he do a third? Mental has to roll. Franchise still alive, still maneuvering. Misses the shot of recover, almost makes the triple kill happen, but finally taken down. Numbers, though, starting to favor Reciprocity. Power is going to pick up Summons. Mental in a tough spot as well. He's going to be surrounded. Icy makes him pay. B Hill, when it's all said and done, manages to go in Reciprocity's favor. It was NRG who got the first kill and the second kill, but when Explosive went for that drop shot, I don't know if he maybe didn't expect Fran to shoot the boom shot or what, but he basically got a free shot onto him and basically netted him that drop shot. Now you see it's in Kenny's hands.
It is indeed, and what a valuable item that is, especially at this point when you talk about the control in favor of Reciprocity right now over at B. And Rushies actually playing some of a sneakier role in terms of maybe going for the flank on Solars here shortly. And that connects. Kenny drops Explosive up top, and he's got another answer as well. Only hit markers, but here comes the time to rush forward and catches Praise. Catches the large kneecap, and that's going to be Kenny pretty much being a menace around the map right now.
Oh, now look at the angle he has.
Gosh.
He's right behind him.
This is such an excellent
Someone's behind
position.
him. He's still shooting well. This should be a chance for Reciprocity to get some good team fire, maybe chain some downs. Haven't got it just yet. Here comes Explosive. Look at this, just the speed on that pistol landing. Unbelievable how quickly he gets that down. I cannot believe that NRG has managed to live through this. Kenny had the angle from the heavens, but it was Explosive, I believe, off of spawn. It came right behind him, ruined his parade. And now Reciprocity still with a sizable lead, but it is NRG with the 2-cap. They know that they cannot win with these two. You see COG team will win in 25 seconds. We've been here before. We've seen a similar scenario. Boomshot in Kenny's hands. They have to just hold down the one hill and they have to park the buses, you said. Kenny is just waiting on the C hill with the Boomshot. Powers gets one. Solars knows he has to get on the hill. He goes down. Kenny's yet to use his Boomshot yet. This should be it. He gets it. No one can get it in time, or can they? He goes down. Rushy's the last line. They get the break at 2:49. And Rushy's is on B. If Rush can get the entire cap here, that will finish it. What looked like just a tragedy for Reciprocity. The Rush man makes the play. He makes the crying emoji. 300,000 IQ. It looked like it all fell apart. But in the end, Rushies gets the hill, gets the break, gets the drop shot, and then gets the final kill. My heart can't take this.
Rushies, you sneaky man. What was that? He must have snuck through. How in the world? He must have just been waiting there the entire time. And there's a moment where it's a little bit scary, right? That 1v1, but he's got the drop shot in hand. He was prepared. And like you said, Reciprocity, it has kind of been Smarts versus Braun, if you will. Brain and Braun, rather. And Reciprocity, like we said, those algorithms, all those fractions, they seem to be working out in their favor. The percentages as well. This franchise off the rip takes down Mental. I tell you what, a round like that is going to take a little bit of wind out of your sails, I think, for NRG. You're thinking, hey, we just did that. We stopped him at 249. We're feeling good. Oh, my God, there's someone at B. How do we let this slip? How do we let this guy through? And as long as Explosive stays here, nobody's going to have a great time at the hill, at least for now, as this will be NRG's camp for the time. They've got the numbers. They've got everything in their favor. Firing away at the young gun of Powers, who has to reference back. That's Rushies, that's Powers down, and that is NRG on full swing at the moment, but Icy is doing everything he can to stay alive, and somehow actually stayed alive longer than expected.
Yeah, I mean, Dosh for quite a bit of time, unfortunately, ended up falling. Franchise hitting that shot punch. It's still in the game, right? It's not quite as strong as before, but it still does work. Drop shot is what's going to put him away. With Icy off spawn, that brings us to a 3v3 on the map right now. We are, keep in mind, on round 7. We are at the longest spawns that we could possibly have. Each life matters so much more in these early rounds. Can't get back into the fight as quick as you'd like, right? Especially with some of these explosives on the map. No pun intended there.
Gotta be careful, you know. Especially in the late game, too. You talk about the amount of opportunities that you have now. There goes Powers. What a shot. You know what Explosives especially can do with that pistol in hand is Rushies feels the need to rush forward, does get hit a little bit in the back, does eventually get taken down. You got to be aware, though, as that's going to be Icy and Rushies taking down 2 from the NRG side. How can they capitalize on this? Can they fully eradicate NRG from the base? Rushies, at least for good measure, manages to funnel out 1. Mental, however, does get the break on E for a short time. That'll be Reciprocity referencing back and getting that one in their grasps yet again. Keeping in mind, though, actually, COG will have the advantage here. So all things considered, Reciprocity do sit in the firm seat, although NRG are not going to be confident, or rather not comfortable with the current situation. They're pushing here soon.
They temporarily blocked out that right lane with the shock grenade. I'm not sure if they know there's a player there. You can see NRG's kind of moved over. Boom shot in the hands of Kenny. Powers is already down, so a bit of a trade there. Kenny potentially behind another player. Do they know? Mental rotating the boom shot over. That could be a double kill, and it's going to be. Mental, right place, right time, right weapon. Gets a double, looking to extend that over to a triple onto his former teammate Kenny. Hits the LT. 5 dead for Reciprocity. They had the 2-cap. They were in position with the 2. But in the end, if you get 5 wiped in Gears 5 land, it is over.
It definitely is. Rushies was not hiding anywhere around the the landscape to maybe surprise us all yet again. But regardless, wait. Can we pull up the scoreboard really quick one more time?
I think I saw Mental and Explosive with 39 and 36 respectively already.
Ooh, 39 and 35.
Oof, that was close. I think I saw the 16 below it.
Goodness. I tell you what, this guy Gilbert is just, ooh, I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't.
Does it all.
He
really does it all.
He's 39 and 9. Like, by the way, like, it's not just a matter of like, oh, he's playing well. He's also not dying very often either.
And again, you look at the deaths too. I mean, this is so interesting, right? You look at some of the slang. The slang is starting to, you know, like I said, extend away. Like Reciprocity is being outslayed. They're dying more often, but they're winning.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the best you can ask for, because that just kind of means once you start picking up your slaying, the other things kind of fall into place, I would say, a little bit easier. Again, no easy task to just start kind of, you know, randomly outslaying them, but it just kind of shows that you're playing the game type the right way. Absolutely.
Obviously all led by that man Franchise, carrying one at certain moments, but like we said, can Reciprocity continue to kind of expand on a lead, or will NRG start to even things back up? We'll have to find out, as Kenny playing fantastic so far throughout Gears of War 5 and doing so in the early stages of this one as well. Of course, along with his contributions, a few other rec players are going to now have the advantage. That's going to be 3 down for a short time from NRG.
4v2.
I actually say for a short time. Spawns are back up to a high rate, so not spawn for NRG, and pretty much I think for them at this point, it's kind of referencing back, licking your wounds, and trying to form a different game plan, right? Go back to the drawing board, because Reciprocity clearly have the advantage right now.
And they're starting to kind of build up that lead with the 2-cap. Of course, as you guys know, Exhibit, the neutral hill does not move. Sort of like Gears 4, right? The home hills on Dam never seem to move out of the trucks. Similar situation here. Solars gets the better end of Icy up top. Franchise bringing him down to such low health. Not able to finish him. Solar's going to extend forward, too. He wants that 1v1. Look at how aggressive he's being. He's trying to win a fight for that hill. Franchise going to get the better end of his former teammate. Explosive is there as well. Oh, Fran did not predict right what side of the pillar he'd be around. Explosive going to get that drop. They're trying to fight over for that boom shot. You can see Teamfire finally comes in. Icy's off spawn. Reciprocity will maintain their boom shot. Look at their home hill back. They still have E, but for how long? You can see NRG all over that hill. Icy rotating that boom over. Going to try and get in there before the full cap comes off. Doesn't get Mental. Instead gets his teammate Summons. That time by NRG will close the gap, though. You can see they have the 2-cap. They're going to pull ahead in a second. Reciprocity didn't have their home hill for quite some time. This big push is going to be important. Power is going to fall. Here comes like a fighting game combo I just saw between
good old shot punch.
Melee shot punch on the meat shield.
Absolutely love it. Console shooters, especially when it comes to shot punching, always a fan favorite, as there we have it. A decent amount of players currently trying to enter back into the fray for Reciprocity. As like we covered on the initial phase, they look pretty solid. NRG, though, quick to take things over, as that will be the D and E hill now in their grasps. And with that drop shot watching the hallway, it's never easy.
And here's another one.
Good night to Icy, and maybe good night to Kenny as well if he's not careful. Keeping in mind, Kenny actually just took down one prior to that. And you see NRG pretty much focusing their attention toward multiple lanes. They're just trying to break out, but here comes Powers, all the more aggressive.
That's a big break, though. Still a big break for Reciprocity. It gives them a chance to kind of come back with the 2-cap. Again, they have to hold it. COG team will win with the current 2-cap, but of course, NRG can ruin the parade by getting one of those breaks. You can see the time lead will be erased soon. Fran's going to be down. Explosive, if he can get in there, that would be massive. Reciprocity has now taken control of the time lead. Oh! He gets it down on Kenny. Boom shot comes in. I don't know if anyone's in position for the Reciprocity home run. Nothing they could do. They had the 2-cap. They held on. Reciprocity continues to build a bit of a lead. 4 out of the last 5.
It really is a matter for
look at the stats.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just they're playing around the hills in the right ways at the right time.
I know I keep asking for this, but if we can pull up the scoreboard one quick time really fast. I want to take a picture of the deaths, and I want to average it out and see what the real differential is in terms of slang. So I think this is actually really interesting. Thank you, production, for doing that. And I'm going to, start getting my calculator out and averaging exactly what's going on here. Do you actually average? No, you don't. But even still, yeah, my math skills, definitely. My terminology isn't there. Although what I do know is that Reciprocity, it's like they always have an extra layer. Like they have one excess piece that you can always rely on. Obviously in that situation it was Kenny. Prior to that it has been Rushies. I mean there's always one guy who's left alive who ultimately makes the major difference in the clutch situations, and I feel like NRG hasn't had an answer for that.
That's just been, like I said, things that you expect usually NRG to do to teams, and look at Rushies getting in there, getting confident. Now Mental is stuck in such a tough spot. Gonna use that shock grenade to get away, but Reciprocity comes out of that engagement with the neutral hill. They're playing confident, they're playing fast. Fran is gonna get that drop shot. Rush is there for the revive. Fran on his last shot has to be careful. Rush gets dropped, Fran gets dropped. The team fire from NRG was so strong there, landed quickly. We have 4 down. Icy, last alive, powers finally off spawn. Good start for Reciprocity, but very, very quickly was that area of the map just turned on its head. Franchise didn't even have an opportunity to use the drop shot. He couldn't even get a shot off just because of the relentless team fire, the focus they placed on him to get him off the map, and that even led to the teammates falling as well.
See if it'll only continue. Like we said, the craziness of this match 1, it's living up to the hype, that's without question. NRG coming off strong, already reaching the century mark first. Here comes the flash. Now's the time for the push. A little bit of damage done. Kenny also receives a flash of his own, and praised, of course, the man to enter into the fray first is also the man who finds the assist as well. And the knife to the heart for good measure, as that will be a push foiled. Reciprocity, at least in terms of one lane, can't make it happen. Now only 2 players currently alive. Icy manages to find the first, unfortunately. The res does come through, and he is singled out. That's NRG with numbers there, Ryan.
Yeah, 2v1. Said Icy had a good chance, got the first down, but just didn't have enough ammo to make it happen, didn't have enough spacing. Meanwhile, Rec about to be full limited. I think they knew it wasn't worth wasting their respawns. They still have a lead. No use throwing a lot of their respawns away on a round that was probably already lost. They still maintain a lead, but again, NRG is right up in there, and you see the slaying still so strong, in particular by Mental and Explosive, that kind of that dynamic duo. As you mentioned, Mental having the highest KDA in the Pro League, at least through the first 4 weeks. Nothing to be super surprised about or anything.
Well, you talk about slaying. Now, math could be wrong. Pretty sure this is very accurate, though. 20 kill difference heading into that last round. So the one that we just saw not included in that. I think there was a 20 elim difference.
Yeah, I mean,
and still Reciprocity.
The deaths are obviously
in terms
higher.
of deaths only, right? Yeah. I mean, 47 and 48. That's crazy. I mean, you just have 2 guys who are roaming and taking lives every single chance they get. And I say that because it's impressive, but it's also, to me, just as impressive the fact that Reciprocity continues to find themselves in the driver's seat. Obviously, little by little, you could talk about how the game has progressed on, but even still yet, it is truly a match of brain versus brawn. Who wins it out here in this game 1? We talked about the revenge tour for NRG. Reciprocity on a map choice where maybe you could argue isn't their most favored in this series. If they could get a victory here, that would mean everything for this series. Here's where 5 has treated us to so many interesting storylines off the rip, and boy, would this be one to put up there. The top dog struggling with maybe the new guys in town. It looks as if currently that flag, or rather, excuse me, that hill nearly being grabbed from Reciprocity, instantly foiled, as that's going to be 3 down for the side of Rec. Icy continually, the last man alive, unfortunately has to receive the negatives of 4 guns right at his face. Receives a boot to the head, and now he revisits the respawn screen again.
I think they decided to save their respawns once again. Yeah, you saw Powers get the opportunity to respawn a while back. They decided instead to save their respawns, and just like that, Landon, we are tied up once again. NRG winning 3 of the last 4. Explosive at 53, Mental at 49.
And I'm not surprised.
And it's only tied again.
Yeah.
Boom shots locked for 1 more round each.
Oh, man.
I definitely say that it's favored NRG. Obviously, I mean, with the last few round wins.
But it's interesting because one team will be on match point by the time that it's around.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, the boom shots being off the map definitely favored NRG. So they get 1 more round of it. That could be their opportunity to pull away before they're obviously put back on. That drop shot, of course, staying constant in the middle. Those shock grenades, constant on a map like Exhibit. That shock grenade can literally block off an entire lane, right? A lot of narrow kind of hallways, narrow lanes on that map. You get a good shock grenade there, that's going to stop a team dead in their steps. Again, explosive, except the in-game leader, the floor general, and a quarterback of this team. Kind of the all-seeing eye around the map, right? So good at just communicating, so good at calling things on the fly, thinking for other players at times. I mean, just you name it, this guy does it for this team.
How often do you think he calls a blitz? Pretty often.
I mean, when they're wolf packing at you, it kind of feels like a blitz. I'll tell you that much. I've watched a lot of screens with those guys flying at my players. I'll tell you that much. It's not a pretty sight.
A few slant routes, maybe a few screens, possibly. I'm sure Explosive's got a lot of different terminology for it, but at least off the start, let's see how this one starts to break off. Like I said, when you're kind of in this power position, this has kind of been obviously Explosive and Fran. I thought this map is so interesting, and you've been kind of calling it out. Literally, the two kind of heads, the QBs, if you will, the guys who do contain the most vision, right? They can watch all kinds of different line sights. And I think this is what makes this map in particular so interesting to watch, is because of this kind of dueling battle. It's almost as if they're communicating across this central location to one another.
There you go.
You wouldn't want anyone else to be in these positions, but here we go.
NRG strikes first. They are the aggressors. We had a stalemate for over a minute before a team finally decided to strike. It was the Swarm team, and now we find ourselves in a 4v2 situation. Summons with a new shock. Mental with that drop shot. NRG going to take control of those neutral hills. They're going to take control of the time lead momentarily. And now it's going to be that much harder if you're Reciprocity, right? Nothing harder to push than a hill with a drop shot looking over it.
Yeah.
Praise has a shock grenade as well, so I believe they have 2 shock grenades and a fresh drop shot. There's that drop shot. Let's see how Rec can try to get out. Players falling left and right. Fran and Kenny last alive. Kenny's going to be dropped as well. NRG are starting to come alive, and they're starting to move, and at the right time. 1 drop shot left. It's going to be in the hands of Mental. If you're Reciprocity, the question becomes, where's your push?
Yeah.
Right? Do you try to push that neutral hill with the drop shot watching, or do you try to make the OE play? Do you try to push one of the hallways? I mean, where can you go? Don't forget, I believe both Praised and Summons have a shock grenade.
Here comes the push. Mental. Actually, it's going to be NRG who's trying to foil this one early. And there we have it. Our answer instantly decided for us, as that's going to be NRG reaching map point first. Still potential for round 13. Reciprocity are still in this one, but my goodness, you're looking at that double 55 coming through from Mental and Explosive. And that's a great word to utilize when it came down to that last push. It was instantly decided where the Reciprocity crew was coming from. NRG realized it, and they squashed it before it became an issue.
The boom shot's now back on the map. Curious to see kind of what effect this has. It's like Rush is drifting over that pick before likely putting some utility on the back end. You see, NRG also has that extra piece of utility landing, right? They've used that in 2 loadout slots. NRG only using in 1. Once again, the 2 in-game leaders, the players to pick up the boom shot.
Can I point out something, Ryan?
Absolutely.
You want to know that not just do NRG possess the 2 top leading Slayers, they possess the 4 top leading Slayers.
And they just now took the lead.
They did. They did indeed. Oh, my goodness. I don't know anymore. I really don't. I don't get it. But I love it. I absolutely love it. And this is the waiting game.
We're seeing the same kind of standoff, right? Last round.
I think I just saw
about
tumble.
7.
Is that tumbleweed? Oh, no, it's just a laser. Okay, I thought for a moment. We talked about Mani Umano.
Yeah, it took about 75 seconds last round before the first kind of kill went underway. It was NRG who struck first. I believe it was Explosive who rotated away from the spot. Of course, the difference this time being he has the drop shot. Can't quite be as mobile. Shock grenades have been out. It's like on both sides. No one down just yet. The round were to end right now, for what it's worth. Rec has kind of the half-point lead that would give you on a stalemate. We actually had a round, I can't remember if it was in Pro League or where it was, where I think it was on Icebound, a round actually went all the way through without the neutral hill, and so the team who had like that half-second tick actually won.
Like,
so we've
really,
seen it happen.
Jimmy, you couldn't have capped it a second faster?
We've seen it happen, just saying. Now we're at the point where the second round of drop shots come out, so rather than stacking the ammo for one person, you now see each player picking one. So Kenny and Franchise holding boom shots on Reciprocity side. The duo with 55 eliminations, Mental and Explosive, each carrying one of their own.
Oh, man. You can start to feel the intensity a little bit, right? Reciprocity, NRG. And now, this is when the time starts to haunt you a little bit. If you're Rec, you're thinking, hey, when do we make our push? When is the time that we begin to bring this one out? Of course, you got players of all angles. You've also got that top point of view to be looking out for. And, of course, it's Icy for the Reciprocity side, Solars for the NRG side.
Yeah, right up top is like I said, a fight that you can't ignore as well, right? That's Solars and Icy, two incredible players, and it looks like
they're going to be going
Explosive
for 2v1.
might be rotating over to Solars. They might be trying to go for that pick on Icy. I do believe Explosive dropped his boom shot altogether. You see, he doesn't have a weapon in that loadout slot. He just dropped it completely. And it looks like, I'm guessing he gave the ammo to Mental, if I had to guess.
Kenny, yeah, okay, so Kenny and Fran, they both have booms.
And Rushies has 2 shot grenades.
Right.
So we're currently at the 150 mark. The neutral hill has not been capped. And
oh, man.
think about it this way. Do you think maybe, if you're Reciprocity for one, you have that half-tick lead, you might just take all your utility and just stack the neutral hill. At the same time, though, we saw Explosive rotate up top. Do you think that maybe NRG are deciding to go for the last-second break on the Reciprocity home hill because of the fact that they do contain sort of that last lead?
There's one. Mental takes out Summons. Well, he's knocked at least.
Downs him.
Oh, my gosh. Do they try to go for the pick? Solars actually hops in the hill, and that's when Franchise starts to feel the pressure. Kenny pulls out the first boom. Despite not having man count advantage, he brings it out regardless. And here come the flashes, here come the pushes. We're not waiting till the very end. It's all about now. Explosive takes it out himself, but in the meantime, Mental comes through and found 2. He doesn't got the hill.
The buzzer.
He hasn't got it yet.
He got it.
204 to 203 does. He does manage to lock it in.
Rec needs to get the cap.
Oh, they had to hold on.
That is their win condition.
This is it. Here comes the flashes. They're actually missing. They missed the flash. Here comes the push.
They need that cap. They cannot win without it. Franchise pushes around. It's a big kill. Gets the reaction shot. He gets the second one. Franchise is going huge right now, but they need this cap. They cannot afford to lose their home hill. You can see the members of NRG.
They're going to win it here.
They're on the F hill now.
NRG, they lose it.
They have taken the lead at the last second. We stayed still for 3 straight minutes.
More like hours.
180 seconds before anything happened, and then it was pure mayhem on the neutral hill, on the home hills. Boom shots, shot grenades, drop shots, flashbangs, chunks, reaction shots, you name it. It all happened in about a minute's time. And oh my goodness, after that we find ourselves on round 13. I said it once, I said it twice. My heart cannot take this, Landon.
Mine can't either. I mean, literally in that moment, it was just like every single elim, every single little reaction that anyone did, it mattered.
That play by Fran was so massive. Coming around the cover, hitting that big shot, following up the reaction shot, and then chunking the player hopping over.
But there were 2 situations where NRG, they have a team kill type situation.
Yeah, with the down, the early down.
Well, the early down, and then I think eventually.
And then, and then Mental makes the play, jumps into the hill.
Yep.
Rushy's there shooting him. Mental shoots the direct connect shot. The guy lancering him.
So Kenny just hops into the hill and grabs it instantly. A much different situation. So there goes Mental. Explosive on the other end. Instantly pulls out the boom and makes it work. Already dropping players. Powers takes down a few. And what a shot! Powers writing a new script for us, writes a signature on the NRG bodies, and continues to push forward, waiting for Rushies to go for the pickup, and he's there. What a presence felt for Rec off the start. This is a newly felt team. We talked about how their slow-paced play was starting to work out, where they show aggression, and right there it works perfectly, Ryan.
I told you, Powers has no fear. Jumps in front of Explosive, many consider the best player in the game, wins the 1v1, follows it up. Reciprocity with an early lead, but here come NRG just as we're gassing him up.
I hear the
Swarm team strikes back. Short spawns though, Landon. These are the quickest that we're going to see players get back into the game. You're seeing Franchise kind of jumping around. He's met by his former teammate Praised. Explosive takes out Icy. Kenny goes down. Numbers in NRG's favor once again.
That's 3.
This lead apparently short-lived. That's 4 dead. Powers is last alive. He wins a 1v1 against Solars. That's going to give him a boom shot. He cannot afford to go down here.
Thankfully, Kenny's
very fortunately stays alive. They still have a slight lead. It will be gone before you know it. But at the very least, Reciprocity is back. They're at full strength. and they live to fight another day. This round 13 is far from over.
That's for sure. Oh boy, here we go. Folks, strap in. This is it, right? This is round 13. This is for map 1. Consider that we are playing a best of 3. But what a map it has been here on Exhibit. Definitely would pay to come and watch this game again. That's without question. Here comes the boom. Actually, the drop, excuse me. Mental manages to make it land there onto Fran.
He has another one.
He does indeed. He's got another one toned up. Sweet chin music ready to go, and possibly goodnight to Kenny, but he's still alive. He somehow manages to dodge it, and Mental feels the pressure. He ends up diving in, finds the kill regardless of that. And now NRG continues to have pressure yet again, feeling the presence in the hallways as Powers, having to back up, and nearly at the 200 mark is NRG.
And then Mental makes him pay. Now Mental's going to get a fresh new drop shot. This is not good for Reciprocity. They have to hit both hills, and they have to hit them quick. Of course, Mental has the 2 drops to watch over E. Brandon wins a 1v1, but is it going to be enough? Mental isn't dropped either. That's going to do it. There's nothing Reciprocity can do. 4 go down. What a back and forth close map. We've had slaying differences. We've had heartbreak. We've had intensity. But in the end, 4 of the last 5 rounds go in favor of the Swarm team after an incredible 13 rounds. NRG strikes first in our grand finals. They lead 1-0. And look at Mental, 67 elims. That actually ties our record from last week as well. Fantastic performance by him. A number of big double kills over the neutral hill. Put those power weapons to use as well. I mean, literally did some of everything at that point. And once again, we knew this would be a crazy matchup. We saw what happened last week, and we are being delivered just, again, it seems like episode 2 at this point.